Hey everybody, Michael Lazaroff. I am the executive director of the Jazz Cruise and of Signature Cruise Experiences, which produces the cruise. I'm going to take you through a bunch of the items for the cruise, and then I will be joined by Aubrey Pavlik, who is our guest relations manager, director, and a whole bunch of other things. And she's going to take you through some of the other items, and then we're going to answer your questions. You can type in a question right on the webinar, and if it's a general question of interest to lots of people, we'll answer it right on this call. And if it's something specific to your reservation, we will have our team get back to you as soon as possible. The Jazz Cruise 26. Um, Love it. We're on the Celebrity Summit again. We're sailing from Tuesday, January 27th through Tuesday, February 3rd. We're going to leave from Fort Lauderdale, same place that we have for many, many years, and we're going to be visiting Coco Cay and San Juan, Puerto Rico. In a second, I got to turn off my phone because I'm an idiot. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyway, Coco Cay is the first port, and that's on the first full day of the cruise. That's a private island, and it is really nice. We're going to provide you with lots of information about where we suggest that you go on Coco Cay, how you get your lunch, and every other aspect of it. But that is a non-music, non-scripted, non-programmed time on the beach just to realize that you're back on vacation. Um, and then we go to San Juan, which is every time that we do the jazz cruise, we try to have some place right in the middle where we can get artists off and on just in case we have somebody who has to do that. And we do have a couple this time, largely because of the Grammys. We have some people coming on and off. Okay. Now, okay. Emmett is your host. You've seen lots of emails from him. He's terrific. He's very excited. He's been very engaged working with us on this particular cruise, not only with the lineup selection, but also with the events, what we're doing and the performance schedules. Next week, our entire team will be in St. Louis. That's the home base of the Jazz Cruise and a Signature Cruise Experiences. And we will be going through the performance schedule day by day. We outline and we whiteboard every single hour of the cruise from the time that you all walk on until the time that you all walk off. We are pleased to have some really key people act as directors. Eric Marienthal is our music director. Shelley Berg is our artistic director. The great John Clayton runs the big band like nobody else. Catherine Russell will be an event host. Ken Poplawski will be your host for the Hall of Fame show, of the Welcome Show. We're doing it a little bit different this year. And Wycliffe Gordon, along with Nikki Harris, of course, will be doing the gospel show for the 843rd time in a row. They are the best. And that's obviously one of the great shows that we have. I'm really excited about this particular lineup. If you will look at the performing groups, we have a real high end of iconic jazz performers. Ron Carter, Paquito de Rivera, Chucho Valdez, Dee Dee Bridgewater, Monty Alexander, Houston Person, Kurt Elling, along with our normal group of Catherine Russell, John Pizzarelli, Jeff Hamilton, and we have Annette Cohen, Janice Siegel, Matthew Whitaker. These are all people who are bringing their own groups onto the cruise. We've got four NEA jazz master on this cruise. Ron, Paquito, Chocho, and Aditi. For those who are not familiar, that's the Hall of Fame of Jazz. That's they elected maybe three or four people every year, and it is quite the honor. There are very, very few active jazz performers who are NEA jazz masters, and we have four of them. So that's really cool. And our feature performers, again, a huge array of absolutely spectacular people: Randy Brecker, James Morrison, Bria Skomberg, Benny Benek, Terrell Stafford, Sean Jones. That is such an amazing trumpet section for the big band. And we have Ken Poplawski, Camille Thurman's back to sing and to play. Wycliffe Gordon, of course, will will be on the ship. And at the piano, we have Shelley, Benny Green, Rini Rosnes, Matisse Picard, and a whole bunch of other really terrific pianists and John Clayton. Our drummers are led by the legendary Lewis Nash and Herlin Riley, and there is a Joe Farnsworth who was just nominated for a Grammy, and a bunch of other terrific, terrific, terrific drummers. Um, it's a great lineup. It's 100 people, 100 jazz performers. Virtually all of them qualify as leaders, even though on this cruise they may be sidemen for a particular group. But it is a very, very exciting group. Next is I'm gonna flip the page. For those who have sailed with us before, you know that we take all of the events and we put them into three categories. We have in concert, which is a music event, and that's why we call it out so that you know that you're going to hear music there. Learn that could be a interview, um, a master class, a listening party, lots of different ways. They almost always involve one of the musicians, but it is not a live music event. And enjoy is just fun stuff by the pool, parties, walk for the cure, lots of different events that are really cruise events. So even though this is the greatest music cruise in the world, we also have some items that are just purely for vacation and fun. The entertainment format for the first night and for the Hall of Fame night, which is also formal night, we split the audience into a blue and red, which was a designation that you made when you made your reservation. People who have a blue card go to the first show, and people who have a red cruise identification card go to the second show. So on the first night, we have the welcome show, which is sort of a poo-poo platter of jazz, where we have eight or nine of our top people. They all perform. There is something of a theme, and it is just a great way to kick off the jazz cruise. Typically, guests with blue cards, they'll be in the first show, and then guests with the red cards, they'll be at dinner. And then this flips around 8:30 or so, and a red card people go to the show, and a blue card people go to dinner. All other shows, even in the main theater, are festival style. You don't need a ticket. You just walk in, you can leave whenever you want, you can come whenever you want. There are some rules regarding seating, which we're going to talk about later. But again, this is called a festival style. No tickets, no lining up. You just come into the theaters and take a seat. and this includes late night jam sessions and special shows. We have well over 200 hours of music. You will have access to our performance schedule about 10 days before the cruise, and I know that many of you will then sit and map out when you're going to spend your time. The performance schedule will also be on our app, and the app will be available 10 days before as well. The app has some very interesting characteristics to it. You can type in Kurt Elling and see everywhere where he will be performing that week, for an example. So if you have a specific artist that you're interested in or something, you can build your own schedule around that using the app. The app is also modified in real time. So if in fact something is going to be later or we have a substitute performer, that will be in the app immediately. The venues on the ship, we have the theater, the main theater, seats half of the cruise guests very, very comfortably. Typically, that's where the larger shows are. The main theater is really not dictated as much by the popularity of the show as it is by the size of the performing group. The big band is always in the main theater. Some of our larger groups are always in the main theater, but we also make sure that events that we think will be popular but are only performed once, they'll be in the main theater so as to allow for the maximum number of folks being able to see it. Sky Lounge, that's on the top of the ship, directly above the theater on deck 11. It's the number two venue in terms of size. It feels like a jazz club during the day. You have a panoramic view of the ocean, and at night it is just brilliantly lit with you can see the stars and all that stuff. It is a very cool place. The Rendezvous Lounge, which is on deck four midship, it is a full lounge going from one side of the ship to the other side, port to starboard. It has a bandstand, it has bar, terrific seating. It's about 300 people, maybe 250 to 300. During the day, we use it for talks. We use it for lectures. Some some music, if it's a small trio or a piano player, and in the evening we also fill it completely with music, and that is where uh, some of our trios play. We During the time early in the evening, we have a special programming, and we have dance lessons, and it's a really cool place. By the pool, we have a full stage, and we don't have that many shows out by the pool, largely because you really can't control the sound well enough, and our musicians deserve to be heard properly. But we do have our a t-shirt party. We have Houston Persons dance party. We have a number of items that will be by the pool. One of the really cool aspects of this ship is our ability to take the Cosmopolitan restaurant, which is the main dining room, and turn it into a cabaret style and a theater style venue. Um, During the day, it has all the light coming in from the a two-story window backdrop. We have shows there. We we have been performing music during the lunch hour. Some of the larger meet and greet items are there. And in the evening, we have terrific music. That is where our Birdland Jazz Club shows are almost every night. There is a vocalist show early, and then there's a late night show. And for the most part, that is where guests wind up late in the evening. Almost always, that is the last place to close in terms of music. Again, cabaret style, very, very comfortable. Great way to end your evening. Okay. Non-music questions. Okay. Attire. The most important thing being on the cruise is to be comfortable. This is not a fashion show. It is a time to be comfortable, particularly with your shoes. Even if all that you do is go from your stateroom to the shows and back, you're going to wind up walking way more than you would typically do when you're at home. So it's very, very important to have comfortable shoes and wear clothes that are very, very comfortable. Um, One of the things which I'll be talking about later, I always tell folks to bring clothes that do not require pressing. Um, the the ship does have a dry cleaner, does have a laundry. They aren't they aren't very good, but they are very expensive and they are very slow. And so only if you absolutely must do that would I advise you to send things to the dry cleaner, to the laundry. So try to bring clothes, particularly nowadays with very, very fashionable activewear that looks like regular clothes. One night during the cruise, we formal night. It's really not formal night as much as it is dress up night. Men wear jackets, seldom wear ties. We're not talking about cocktail dresses or anything like that. It's just a little more spivvy, and it is what you would wear if you were going out to dinner and a show, which, by the way, is exactly what you'll be doing. Photographs. You can take as many photographs as you want, non-flash. You cannot take flash photographs of the shows. You cannot record the shows in any manner whatsoever. And for those who are taking photographs, we ask that you do not impair the sight line of the people behind you. Holding your phone above your head, taking photos, unless you're seated all the way in the back, you're going to be blocking somebody, and we will have to address that when that happens. Um, Talking to the musicians, of course. The only question is when and where. Um, if they are playing in one of the lounges or one of the venues other than the main venue, we ask that you wait until they clear the bandstand because we have a show coming up probably right afterwards. We have to clean it up. We have to get ready. And so we ask you and the musicians to move to the side to have your conversations, but they absolutely welcome. Please try not to dominate any conversations. That isn't fair, but say hello, tell them how much you enjoy their shows, etc. Merchandise, they're going to bring, most of them bring CDs on the ship to be autographed. Um, the ship has a spa, which is really terrific. We have shops. This isn't a place where you're going to shop. It isn't a rodeo drive. But it does have some things that you might be interested in. Jewelry is actually a pretty good bargain on the ship. Rules and procedures for show seating. All shows are first come, first serve. There are no reserved seats, but once you're inside a venue, you are permitted to save one seat, and you can keep that seat saved until the show starts. When the show starts, any unoccupied seat may be taken by any guest. Upon conclusion of the show, we ask that you exit the venue to allow us to clean up and to set up for the next set. If if you wish to see the next show in a particular venue, let's say you're up in the Sky Lounge and there is a 1:30 show, you had a great time, but you want to see the a 3:30 show, you must remain in your seat during the break time. Though each guest may save one additional seat, you may not save seats in absentia or by using props to designate seating. Once in a while, we have somebody who takes a jacket or some towels and covers 7 or 8 seats. You can't do that. Unattended props will be gathered by our venue monitors and held for claiming. That's unless you put down something really cool and we may just take it. So forewarned is forearmed. Okay. Programming events. We've already talked about autograph and a recording signings, listening parties. Many of the musicians will have a listening parties for their latest recordings. Passenger jam and a pool party. Those are two events. Every day we have the passenger jam. It is in the Aubrey.
Stellar Master, sorry.
Cellar Masters. Thank you. I kept I kept thinking wine and I couldn't think of what it was. Cellar Masters. We provide lots of equipment. We're going to have a professional musician sit in for an hour and people get to perform with their other passengers. This is primarily a instrumental event. Once in a while, a vocalist will sing, but it is intended to be for instrumental players. The pool party, which is the t-shirt party, that's our annual t-shirt party. This is where we ask those who are interested in singing to sign up, and we will set you up with a trio, and you will sing. Very shortly, there'll be applications in your emails coming up. We ask that you fill out the application with your name, the song that you want to sing, and we will then take care of it and we will schedule you. Again, the passenger jam, that's for instrumentalists, and the pool party, that is for vocalists. Bridge, we've got professional bridge consultants who are going to be on the cruise. They have been for many, many years, the Molaskis, and they can confer a master points, and every day there'll be a bridge session. Wine tastings, we have several wine tastings scheduled. They are generally attended by one or more of our musicians. There's a charge for those, but they're really nice. Theme nights, we have three theme nights. The first night, welcome night, that is the welcome show. And then Sunday, February 1st, that is our formal night. That is also when the Jazz Cruise Hall of Fame show takes place. So those are the two nights where the blue red distinction comes into play. And then the final night, thank you night, February 2nd, which is always kind of melancholy because that's cruise is over. It was a great cruise, but you have to wait one more year to come back or 51 weeks. We have a number of game shows, some of which some of which will be with our guests, but a lot of them will be with our artists and our musicians. Lots of fun. We play Band Feud, which is a takeoff of a Family Feud, and that's always great. Alonzo Bowden, who's our comic, will be back for the gosh, 10th, 11th, 12th time, whatever it is, and he is hilarious. And he'll also be hosting some of the shows. The ship has pickleball, and that's on a sign up basis. It's on top. It's on the event deck, which is deck 12, sports deck. We have a morning coffee talks with artists and some with our staff where we get together and we answer questions and we talk about various things that you you might be interested in. And we will have our always global gathering breakfast, which is our tribute to guests whose primary residence is not the United States, which we try to honor people that travel far distances to join us on the cruise. I know the fact that Montreal is a closer to a Fort Lauderdale than Los Angeles. We kind of pretend that that doesn't count, and it's Canada. So there is a little bit of chicanery there, but we feel that given everything going on, we need to be very nice to our Canadian neighbors. Next, onboard dining. For this, I'm going to turn it over to Aubrey Pavlik, um, not because she has eaten more on the ship than I have, but because she really knows these things, and I'm going to let her walk through this, and then we'll get back to your questions. Thank you. Aubrey?
Thanks, Michael. Looking forward to welcoming everybody on board in about a month and a half. So, Celebrity Cruises is very highly rated for their food and beverage operations and their service. It's generally split between included dining, and those are options that are included in your cruise price, and then the specialty restaurants, which are locations that are available to you to reserve for an upcharge. Before we get into those different options, if you have dietary restrictions, Celebrity is very used to accommodating most general, kind of normal ones. If you're gluten free, if you're vegetarian, if you're vegan, if you have something very specific, we do ask that you write or call the Celebrity Cruises Access Department to give them a heads up so that they can make sure that they're prepared to take care of you on board. But again, if you are a vegetarian, you just want to let your waiter know when you first sit down at dinner or lunch, and they can assist you, helping get you the correct menu and guide you through any of the options that you might need a little bit of help with. All right. So our included dining options, those include the Ocean View Cafe, which is open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night. It's pretty much open around the clock. And it's the main buffet on the ship. So it's located on deck 10, right next to the pool deck. When Celebrity renovated the ship a few years back, they completely redid this space. And so instead of being like a long buffet, it's now set up kind of as a variety of smaller stations. There's a wide array of different offerings with different cuisines from around the world. So again, it's open almost continuously from early in the morning to very late at night. So you can enjoy a meal or a snack almost any time during the day. The Cosmopolitan restaurant is open for breakfast and dinner every day and then lunch on days at sea. It is located on deck 4 and 5 in the aft of the ship. It's a really beautiful dining room. There's floor to ceiling windows and a different menu each evening. Some very popular dishes that are offered each of the nights. So, French onion soup, some of their more standard types of options. But again, you're going to find some really good quality food options and nice service there. Blue versus red timing. So, on those 2 nights in particular that Michael talked about, the welcome show and the Hall of Fame show, the blue guests will go to their show in the main theater first, and then they will dine after that. And then the opposite for guests with red cards. So, they're going to go to eat at the Cosmopolitan restaurant or wherever they choose to dine that evening first, and then they will go attend their show after. So typically, blue guests are dining starting around 7:30, and red guests are dining starting around 5 p.m. We have two different options for you if you would like to dine in the Cosmopolitan restaurant. We do offer an open dining section that allows you to arrive at any time to the dining room when it's open and to be seated either with guests that you have come with. So if there's just two of you and you want to be seated together, if there's four of you, just come right up and let them know how many people there are in your party. Or if you are open to dining with other guests, they may put you at a larger table and you can certainly get to know your fellow guests. If you would like a more traditional reserved dining table or experience where you sit at the same table, dine at the same time, and with the same waiter, we can also help arrange that. Assigned dining times are 5 p.m. for red card holders and 7:30 for blue card holders. And if you prefer that option, please do let us know via email at reservations@scecruises.com and we will help set that up for you. The Spa Cafe is located on deck 10 as well. It's kind of in the atrium area there. It's a great option for those who are looking for lighter fare. It's open for breakfast and lunch. And again, it's really pretty healthy options, salads, smoothies, other health forward options. And then there is the pool grill, which is also on deck 10, just a little bit further away from there, but right next to the pool. And it is basically all of your grab and go burgers, hot dogs, chili, fries, any of the traditional grill items that you might think of when you hear that. So that is open in the afternoon time. I believe it's normally around 11 a.m. Through the late afternoon time each day. All right, now we move on to our specialty dining options. So these are restaurants that you can reserve for an upcharge. So Tuscan Grill is deck 3, and it's Italian fare with kind of a modern twist. It's Celebrity Cruises' most well-known and most popular restaurant concept. It features a variety of pastas, salamis, meats. It really is typically a fan favorite. So a lot of our guests do enjoy dining there at least once during the cruise. Lumine is on deck 4, and this is the aft of the ship. This is a favorite of Signature Cruise Experiences staff. It's a very elegant restaurant. The menu is not super large every day, but they do change the menu every day. So what you see on one night might be very different from the next night. It has a little bit of everything. It's really, really a nice vibe in the restaurant, and then the service is excellent, but also the menu really has some different unique options that you don't see on board in any of the other locations. So we highly recommend that you enjoy dinner there at least once. Sushi on 5. As Michael likes to say, it's a very inventive name because it is a sushi restaurant that is on deck 5. Again, it's your typical Pan Asian cuisine. Any sort of sushi rolls. They have sashimi. They also have some different noodle dishes. So again, if you are interested in any of that, you are welcome to try that there. That is open in the afternoon through the evening each day. Again, a lot of people do end up ordering some items from there and taking it out onto their veranda or out by the pool to enjoy outside. So it's kind of a nice option to keep in mind. BB Cuisine. So this is our new restaurant for this year. We're really excited about it. Each year we really try to create something new, a new dining experience for our guests to enjoy. And this year we are going with the barbecue theme. So it's a kind of a modern spin on classic barbecue. All of your favorites, the normal sides. Definitely really nice for sharing. It's a little bit more casual, and it's a great place just to go with some friends and sample a little bit of everything. So one item to note if you are interested in booking this restaurant, and in particular, if you're looking to book this prior to getting on board the cruise, it is going to be listed in Celebrity's pre-cruise planner as cuisine. It does not have the BB Cuisine name on there, but know that you are booking that barbecue special menu that we helped design with Celebrity Cruises. And last but not least, for our specialty dining options, we have SCE Chops House at Blue, which is on deck five. So this is backed by popular demand. We have run this with Celebrity Cruises over the past few years. It's our take on a traditional steakhouse, and it features all of your favorite classics. So prime cuts of meat, French onion soup, shrimp cocktail, variety of sides and desserts. So really, really well received over the past few years, and we are happy to be offering this option again for you all. There is one other option if you are looking to dine on board, and that is room service. So it is available 24/7. There is a continental breakfast that is complimentary. You can order that by placing one of the little cards outside of your door the night prior, and they will bring it to you. All other orders of room service are subject to a $9.95 delivery charge. So you can order as many items as you'd like from the room service menu, and they will charge you that, just under $10 surcharge. Michael has a unique take on room service that I would love to have him help present here.
Thanks, Aubrey. I do this every year. I think I've been on 150 or 160 cruises, and I have never ordered room service once. And the reason for that is simple. I know where my room is, and I know where the kitchen is. And the odds of that meal coming to my room in any manner that I would think would be great is zero. Um, you are you are much better off going to the Ocean View Cafe, getting your food and bringing it back to your room. I know that lots of people believe that a cruise is only a cruise it if you have room service, and that's what the continental breakfast does. But if you want more than that, I really suggest that you kind of think it through. When it was free, room service was okay. That's kind of fun. But now that they're charging for it, I just don't see it. However, if you're sick or you don't want to go out that night or for whatever reason, then it's a brilliant opportunity to get food, take it easy, and to eat inside your room. Okay, so that that along with dry cleaning is I've been doing this now for about 26 years, and those are the only two things I've learned. I don't like room service, and I don't like dry cleaning. I haven't learned one other thing during that time. Thanks.
So now you all have Michael's special secret on room service. All right, so that concludes the dining portion. We will move on to online check-in. It is required for all guests to complete check-in. It can easily be completed using your Celebrity Cruises account. So you can do this starting in 2 days, December 13th. You may go to the link which is provided here, which is celebritycruises.com/booked. You're going to go ahead and enter your username and password and then click sign in. If you do not have a Celebrity Cruises account, you can create an account. You'll see that it says create an account right under the sign in. It will just ask you to complete a couple steps and you can just follow the prompts. It's very easy to create a Celebrity Cruises account. And then if you already have a Celebrity Cruises username and password, but you do not remember it, you're just going to go ahead and say forgot password, and you'll be prompted to reset your credentials there. All right. So once you get check or once you log into your Celebrity Cruises account, your The Jazz Cruise 26 will appear in your upcoming cruises. It should show up automatically. If you don't see it, you can go ahead and put your celebrity reservation number in there to pull it up for yourself. So starting 45 days prior to the cruise again, you're going to be able to start the online check-in process. And you can click on start check-in. You'll see it right here on this page. And this can be completed anytime up until 3 days prior to embark day. So you're just going to start going through the process, following the different prompts that they have. And on this next slide, we'll talk through that. So it's pretty easy. It leads you through a step-by-step procedure. It really, all in all, should probably take about less than 10 to 15 minutes to complete for each person that you're completing the online check-in process. You will want to have a passport, a credit card, and your Celebrity Cruises reservation number handy when you complete this, just in case you need the reservation number as well. You will be asked to complete a number of different steps in this process: guest information, emergency contact. So, again, your travel documentation, have that passport handy. The security photo, you do not need to actually take the photo during this process. You can elect to skip that step if you prefer to do that. They will just take your photo in the terminal when you show up on embarkation day. Again, you will be setting up your onboard expense account, so you're going to want to have that credit card handy, and you'll do a quick health acknowledgement. You will also be asked to select a terminal arrival time during the process. And that is just a window of time that you will be arriving to the terminal. They're available in half an hour windows between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. So just take your travel time into consideration when you're selecting. So if you arrive in the morning, make sure that you're building in a little bit of time in order to adequately grab your bags from the airport and head over to the terminal. Um, and then after you have completed that whole process, your Express Pass will be available for you to download and print. That's a very important step. It serves as your boarding pass on embarkation day. We highly recommend that you do print that out and have that handy with you on embarkation day. If you do complete the check-in in the Celebrity Cruises app, they do have digital boarding passes that are available for you, and we'll go over the app check-in in just a second here. All right, Celebrity Cruises personalized luggage tags. So starting at 30 days prior to embarkation, which is December 28th, Celebrity will make their luggage tags available for you to print. And again, that is also within your Celebrity Cruises account. You will want to print these out and attach them to each piece of your luggage once you arrive into the Fort Lauderdale area. Definitely prior to giving your luggage to the porters at the terminal. It's a really important step. It tells them where to deliver your luggage on board. You do not want your luggage lost. It's a big headache on embarkation day. And the best way to ensure that is to print these luggage tags, which are personalized to you, and make sure that they are attached. Um, you'll see here we also have reusable clear luggage tag options. These ones are from Amazon, but there's probably a number of different ones that you can look up on your own as well. If you don't like these options, you can just slip your printed luggage tags right within the holder. It makes it a little bit more durable when you're putting it on your luggage, ensuring that it doesn't get pulled off during transit. We highly recommend them. They're not very expensive and gives you a little bit more peace of mind that your luggage tag will stay on there and your luggage will be securely delivered to your stateroom. And last but not least, one of the reasons that we suggest doing the check-in online versus the mobile platform is because you cannot print the luggage tags from the mobile app. So if you elect to do your online or your check-in via the Celebrity Cruises app, just know that the luggage tags are not available within that platform. Okay, so now we will talk a little bit about the mobile app check-in. They do offer check-in via the mobile app, as we talked about. If you wish to utilize that, you can download their app in the App Store or Google Play. So you're just going to look up Celebrity Cruises when you're in either of those locations. We also have this QR code here, so you can scan that and it will take you directly to their app if you would like to do that. One nice thing that is available for Celebrity Cruises mobile app check-in is that it's available until the morning of embarkation. So if you do happen to forget, or if you have a friend who didn't complete their online check-in, you can always do that all the way up until the morning of embarkation. The online platform closes 3 days prior. So definitely, if you forgot to do it, this is a great way to still get checked in and avoid that delay at the terminal. And last but not least, if you do have any sort of issues or technical difficulties with your online check-in, we have a number here for you. It is 844-278-9746, and that's Celebrity Cruises Help Desk. They will be able to assist you. They should be able to look at your reservation and the back end of their system. We unfortunately do not have access to that at Signature Cruise Experiences. We're always here to help and assist wherever we can. But we would not be seeing kind of the back end side of that platform. So if you're having any sort of technical difficulties, we do recommend contacting Celebrity Cruises to get the best help with that. All right. Once you are interested in looking at all the different or all the different services and amenities that are available to you on board and even prior to getting on board, we highly recommend looking at Celebrity Cruises pre-cruise planner. Um, it can be accessed via your Celebrity Cruises account. So if you go in again to that Celebrity Cruises account, you're going to go ahead and click Plan My Cruise button. You'll see it right here. And then within this platform, you can make specialty dining reservations. You can book beverage packages, shore excursions, internet packages, spa treatments, any of the other dining amenities that are available on board, and you can do this all from the comfort of your own home. So we definitely recommend taking a look at this when you have a few minutes of time, and finding out what is available to you prior to even stepping on board the ship. The best prices are also going to be available through Celebrity Cruises Pre-Cruise Planner. They do increase for a number of items once we get on board the ship. So there's a discount that is available to you if you book early on the Pre-Cruise Planner. So that's very nice. And one of the reasons that we do highly recommend going in there and taking a look at what is available to you and what you're interested in. You'll see here in this grid, we have a 25% discount on the drink packages. So the premium, the classic, and the non-alcoholic beverage packages, those are all a 25% discount if you purchase those in the pre-cruise planner. And then the premium Wi-Fi packages also have a 25% discount in that pre-cruise planner, and that is the two device and or the one device. Those are all reflected within the pre-cruise planner. You don't have to do anything special to get those prices. So if you go in there, you should be able to just select those different items and put that in your cart and check out, and you'll get that 25% discount. One other reason that we do highly recommend taking a look at the pre-cruise planner and making your purchases prior is that there's no central location on board. to make these purchases. So if you are interested in a number of these different items, you will have to go to different locations on board the ship on embarkation day. And so we want everybody on embarkation day to get on board and to start enjoying and relaxing a little bit more, not trying to hunt their way around the ship and trying to make their purchases. So, again, we do highly recommend taking a look at what's available and making any of those purchases that you might be available to save that time and money prior to even getting on board the ship. All right, Ian, thank you. All right, our embarkation day. We are going to be at Port Everglades, which is Fort Lauderdale's port, and we will be at Terminal 25, which is a nice newer terminal. It was built a few years ago. It's a nice way to start and end our ship, our sailing. Of course, you know that our ship is the Celebrity Summit. If you're driving yourself or if you're taking a taxi or Uber, you're going to want to follow the signage that says Celebrity Summit and or Terminal 25 in order to make your way there. And then there's a few must-have items that you should have very easily accessible when you're arriving to the terminal. These include your passport, your express pass that you will have printed out after you complete that online check-in process, any medications and valuables that you have, and personal items. Um, on embarkation day, you are allowed to bring one standard bottle of wine per passenger. I believe that's 750 milliliters. So you are only allowed to do that on embarkation day. So if that is of interest to you, you should have that, bring that with you on embarkation day. All right. There are a few different steps that you should follow to ensure the best boarding experience when you're arriving at the terminal. The terminal opens at 11 a.m. and you have to be in the terminal by 3 p.m. in order to get on board. I did mention selecting the terminal arrival time during that online check-in process. So again, we really ask that you follow that terminal arrival time that you did select in order to just help the flow of the terminal. Embarkation process has significantly improved since these arrival windows were implemented by Celebrity a few years back. We really just ask that you come during whatever window that you have selected during that online check-in process. And one item of note is guests that are utilizing our signature cruise experiences, pre-cruise hotel transportation to the pier. You can select the last time slot that is available for that terminal arrival time. We'll override this. We're kind of helping with Celebrity Cruises dictate when you're going to be arriving to the terminal. You will not have a wait time if you arrive outside of the time that you selected if you are taking our transportation. So just know that you can click that last slot during that process if you are utilizing our transportation on that embarkation day morning. Um, After you get to the terminal, you're going to take out your luggage and you will hand over your luggage to the porters. Um, Again, we recommend placing your Celebrity Cruises luggage tags on your luggage once you arrive into the area rather than before you get on board a plane, just because they are somewhat flimsy if you don't get those reusable luggage tag holders. So once you get to the terminal, you're going to want to make sure that they're still on your luggage, those luggage tags, and that the stateroom number is accurate. If you did happen to forget your luggage tags or if you weren't able to print them out, the porters, when you arrive there, they do have extra blank tags. So they will be able to assist you in getting luggage tags on your suitcases. Know that they are handwritten, so you're going to want to ensure that it is very legible so that your suitcase does not arrive to the wrong stateroom once you get on board. And then we do highly recommend tipping. It's pretty customary for guests to tip the porters for their assistance, and it definitely helps ensure that your luggage is delivered promptly to your stateroom, which everybody does want. After you hand over your luggage, you're going to go ahead and enter the terminal. You'll finish your registration. If you've completed your online check-in and or your mobile app check-in, and you're arriving within your selected time frame, the process is really incredibly fast. And then you're going to go ahead and board the ship whenever you're called. So with celebrities' arrival windows, there's rarely a time that there's a really long line of guests waiting out inside or outside of the terminal. So again, we just ask that people arrive approximately within that time window that they selected during the online check-in process, and all of this should go very smoothly on embarkation day. You should be able to pretty much go through the process pretty quickly and then go right on board the ship. As you board the ship, staterooms are ready for occupancy, so they will be putting the finishing touches on them. But if you would like to go straight to your stateroom, you can set down any of those personal items that you don't want to have to walk around the ship with. You can put them in your stateroom. You can freshen up, use the restroom, etc. Your cruise identification card or your room key will be at your stateroom. It's in kind of like the stateroom mail slot right outside of your door. So you're going to want to open that up and make sure, obviously, that it's your key card, and then you can use that to go into your stateroom. Your luggage that you handed over to the porters will be at your stateroom by 6 p.m. So again, we just highly recommend that you keep any of those personal items or items that you really need in a short order on you as you're embarking the ship, because your luggage could take until 6 p.m. to get to your stateroom. Typically, it's a little bit earlier than that, but again, it just depends on when you're getting to the terminal, and kind of the flow of the day for the delivery. There are a number of helpful handouts that you will also receive when you're boarding the ship. First and foremost is a welcome letter. It has a lot of helpful tips and tricks in there, a lot of this information that we covered about the different dining options that are available to you, some of the different venues that are on board, what the seating process is, etc. So take a look at that. It will help jog your memory as far as different things that are happening on board the ship and on embarkation day in particular. You will also receive a souvenir program, which is a nice souvenir keepsake for you. It has photos and bios of all the different artists and performers on board the ship, talks a little bit about the week and all of the fun and exciting performances that you can expect on board. You will also receive a lanyard as you're walking on board the ship. This goes around your neck if you so choose, and it conveniently can also hold your room key, your cruise identification card right in there. So you have it easily accessible to you. You're going to need your cruise identification card when you're going to your room, pretty much at all times. When you're going to your room, when you're making any charges on board, when you're going into one of those two red or blue shows, you're going to need to show that as well. So it is super handy to have that in your lanyard right around your neck. And last but not least, Michael kind of alluded to our The Jazz Cruise app. We will be launching that 10 days prior to the cruise. So we will send you an email um, giving you all of the information that you need, how to download the app, how to use it, etc. We will also have a learning session on day one that will answer all of the frequently asked questions about our cruise app, the best way to use it, any of those other questions that you might have about it. We do highly recommend that you download the app prior to getting on board, just so that you have it on your phone. If you do not have Wi-Fi on board the ship, you don't have to worry about that. Trying to download it without the Wi-Fi. The one nice thing about our app is that it is what's called whitelisted. So even if you don't purchase a Wi-Fi package on board, our app will work for you on board. But you do have to have it downloaded prior to us kind of setting sail if you do not have Wi-Fi. All right. Once we are on board on embarkation day, we suggest grabbing a bite to eat. Sometimes the morning can be a little bit long for you. Generally speaking, people are ready to eat once they get on board. Ocean View Cafe, again, the main buffet, deck 10, is open for lunch beginning as soon as you're getting on board around 11:30 a.m. Aqua and concierge class guests also have a private lunch available to them from 11:30 to 1:30 p.m., and that's in the Cosmopolitan Restaurant, Deck 5. And suites also have a private lunch to them available from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., and that's in Lumine on Deck 4. If you weren't able to complete any reservations and purchases via Celebrity Cruises pre-cruise planner, the time between boarding and the sail away party is a good time to do so. Again, as I mentioned before, there's not really a one-stop shop for those various items on board. So if you wanted to book a massage and purchase a tour, you're going to have to go to a couple different locations for that. The spa is located on deck 10. Shore excursions is on deck 3. But again, if you missed purchasing something or something has caught your eye recently, you can go ahead and use that time to make those purchases if you would like to. One really important thing for embarkation day once you get on board the ship is the mandatory safety procedure. All guests have to complete Celebrity's safety procedure. It is now relatively quick and simple to complete. Basically, what you're going to have to do is you'll watch the safety demonstration video. You can watch that either in your stateroom on the TV, or you can do that if you have Celebrity Cruises app downloaded. So you're going to go ahead and watch that. It's a pretty quick little video demonstration. And then once you do that, you're going to proceed to your muster station. Your muster station is listed on the back of your cruise identification, or excuse me, on your cruise identification card on the front or the back of your stateroom door. So you can look and see where that muster station is. It will say A2, B2, etc. If you're unfamiliar with exactly where that is, there will be several Celebrity Cruises staff members who are around the ship. They'll be wearing safety gear. You can just ask them, "Hey, where is this muster station A2?" They'll be happy to assist you, directing you exactly where you need to go. Um, and then once you get to your muster station, there will be another Celebrity Cruises team member or a couple of team members who will verify that you watch the safety video and that you're at the muster station, and they will check you in. They'll scan your key card, and then that is really complete. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask them once you're at that muster station. But that really is a very simple process now, and it's a lot quicker than it used to be. Last but not least, once you've completed all of those items that we just talked about, this is a really great time to explore the ship as well. If this is your first time sailing on the Summit, if you want to refamiliarize yourself with the ship, you can walk around, you can see the different entertainment venues that Michael talked about, the dining venues that I talked about. Or you can just choose to relax and get ready to hear all of the wonderful music that will be starting very shortly. That is all from me. I will hand it back over to Michael, who will continue on with the presentation.
Aubrey, thank you very much. That was a lot of work. Thank you very much for doing that. We're going to talk about rebooking for a TJC 27, which is odd because we haven't even sailed yet on a TJC 26. But it has been our process for forever that guests who are on the current sailing of the Jazz cruise have until the third day of that cruise to rebook their 26 stateroom for the next cruise. Nobody else can touch your stateroom until that time, and you have already received a letter to that effect, and many of you have already completed the rebooking process. But you have until the third day of the cruise, If you are interested in a different stateroom, um, you can indicate that as well, and we will do our best to make that happen. Once we get to the third day of the cruise, we then look to see who has rebooked, who has not rebooked, and all of the staterooms for folks who have not rebooked go back into the general inventory, and we assign them out based upon of the requests first of the guests that are on the cruise. At the same time that you all have had the opportunity to rebook, we have a pre-sale reservation process whereby folks who are not sailing on the Jazz Cruise 26, they can queue up to reserve a stateroom for the Jazz Cruise 27. We have hundreds of pre-sale reservations already. Once we complete that process and we get back from some of the cruises, we will still be cruising, but around um, February 3rd, we will start the process of allowing of activating pre-sale reservations so that they can select any available stateroom and complete a reservation. The other difference is that you're everybody who's on 26 will be paying a cruise price for 27 based upon their sailing history, which typically means that it is a lower price. The longer that you've sailed with us, the lower the price. Once we get to a certain point in this process, that ends, and there is simply one past guest price, and there is simply one new guest new guest price. So if you are interested in your stateroom and if you're interested in the lowest price for you, completing your reservation prior to the third day of the cruise. If if you don't do it before getting on the ship, it's really easy when you're on the ship. There'll be another form. You just basically check your name, sign it, and then you hand it to our folks. The on deck five midship is the signature cruise experience, a future cruise lounge. You can also, by the way, come there and talk to us about all of our other programs. For those who are new to us, you can go online. But 2027, we've got eight different sailings. 2000, uh, actually, we've got nine. Be- because we're going to be announcing another one soon. And I don't think you guys are going to be interested in that one, though. It is a Gen X cruise, and we've got the Google Dolls OAR, and if any of you all know who those people are, terrific. I don't. Okay, I had no idea. But anyway, that's our next new cruise. But we've got all kinds of interesting cruises, particularly for the Jazz Cruise. The week after the Jazz Cruise in your 2027 is a Journey of Jazz, which is floating. 2025, that was in September and was on the West Coast. And this year, I mean, 2027, it's immediately after um, TJC, and it is going to New Orleans. And we have an overnight in New Orleans. And we have a host down there, trumpet player. You may have heard of him. Wynton Marsalis is going to be our a 2 day host down there. We are really excited about that, and that's Gregory Porter and Marcus Miller. In fact, today that cruise launched to the people who have for the rebooking and for the pre-sale reservation. So if you're interested, you could do a pre-sale reservation right now and be at the top of the list. Um, so that's for that, and open booking begins on February 24th. But that'd be cool. So are we answering questions now?
Answer some questions.
Okay,
Yes.
shoot us some questions.
Hey, thank you so much. You guys have been great with the Q&A. We've been able to answer several throughout the session, but here's some questions that multiple people have asked. And they want to know, how do we avoid long lines at the theater?
There really aren't. TJC does not have long lines. Um, um, because of multiple shows. That is not to say that there is not lining up for certain shows. There really isn't any way to avoid a long line. Because it is festival style, we don't have tickets, we don't have assigned seats, and so you just have to pick and choose the events that you want to go to, and it's impossible to see everything, so you have to pick and choose the items that you want. Yeah.
Great. Regarding red and blue dining, do those dining times only apply on the 2 nights where there's a main show?
Yes, it only applies on those 2 nights. Every other night you can dine whenever you want. You're going to want to look at the performance schedule once it comes out because we have shows at 6:30 and stuff. We tried very hard not to have a show, I think from 5:30 to 6:15 or something like that. Not that you would eat a complete meal during that time, but that gives something of a break.
Mhm. Um, there's a couple people that asked, what is the difference between the TJC app and the Celebrity Cruises app? Can you
I'm
explain?
gonna let Aubrey do that one.
Yes. So Celebrity Cruises app, you will be able to reserve specialty dining in that. You'll be able to see your folio account on board. So any purchases that you've made with your key card on board, you'll be able to kind of track that. Prior to the cruise, you'll be able to, again, make all of those different purchases that we talked about. With our app, it is the performance schedule primarily. So you're going to be able to see every single event that's going on board the ship, all of the different performances, any of those learn, enjoy, and in concert shows that Michael talked about. So they are two different apps. They do not necessarily talk to one another. Unfortunately, we don't have some of, the access to your onboard folio. You can't see your charges on yours, but we believe ours is very, very important for you to use because it does give you each and every single event on board. If you don't choose to use the app, that is okay. We do have a daily program that is delivered to your stateroom each evening. And so that does have that same line by line, event by event schedule that you'll be able to use on a paper basis if you don't wish to use the app.
Hey. Okay, we've had a couple questions about the passenger jam and the pool party. Could you touch that again? Are they going to need to apply to go to the pool party?
Yes, very soon within the a Get Ready series, those who wish to perform vocally at the pool party, we will need their name and the song that you wish to sing because we have to have the band ready to be able to perform that song and it isn't fair to the band for someone to walk up and say, okay, I'm going to sing night and day. So that will be within the next couple of weeks. You do not have to sign up at all for the passenger jam. That is a daily event that goes on for hours during the day, and you just have to show up and have your instrument and be ready to play.
Great. We had a couple of people ask about Coco Cay when we are in port in Coco Cay. Is there anything pre-planned for that, or can they just explore on their own?
You can explore on your own. We just talked about that today. It's it's a big place, and it is very difficult for us to do anything in particular there. We are looking at that as to whether we're going to have some type of activity there, but it really, since it's the first morning of the cruise, it's just a great time to relax and enjoy the a beautiful island.
Okay. Kind of pivoting off that, what is the weather expected to be around this time of year?
Warmer than where I am right now. That I'll tell you. Um, I don't know, but I will look up. It's over the years, it's it's always been really nice. This is actually one of the better times to be down there. It is generally not overly hot, but it is nice. I mean, it's you're in the Caribbean, you're on an island. The odds are, but if you Google one of these locations and do the date, they will give you the average temperatures. I I haven't done that in a while. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and just kind of to wrap it up, the last question was, will these slides and this presentation be available afterwards?
Yes, there will be. They'll be on the website.
Yes.
Also, more than 200 folks who are on the jazz cruise are spending the week before the jazz cruise on a Christian McBride's World at Sea, which has a terrific lineup. Some of the best vocalists around: Samara Joy, Lettucey, Cecile McLaurin Salvant, Angelique Kidjo, and all of Christian's bands. There are some staterooms available, and it's a very nice value at this point. So if you are looking to add a week, you can join a couple hundred of the folks that are on the jazz cruise that have already decided to spend 2 weeks
Mhm.
with us. So there's that. Any other
I
questions?
think we just wrapped the ones that came up frequently from multiple people. So I think we could just kind of move on to our cruise. The next slide.
Which are the takeaways?
Mhm.
I'll do these real quick. These are just things that you you should just be aware of without even thinking about them more. Make sure that your passport's valid and that you know where it is. Invariably, there'll be three people that will show up without a passport, and that's become a real problem. They are getting stricter, as I'm sure you can guess. So you really need to have a passport. Complete your check-in as soon as that service is activated, which is Saturday. Um, Complete as many purchases and reservations as you can before boarding the ship. Um, I can't emphasize that enough. It's so much easier sitting at your a breakfast table with a glass of wine, picking out your stuff than running around the ship standing in line. Somebody asked, how do you avoid the lines? There are no lines in your kitchen to sign up for these events. That is the place to absolutely do them. Be alert to the announcement of the performance schedule. We're going to have that out to you soon. Be sure to allow for extra time to reach the the cruise terminal and arrive at your selected slot. We're sailing on a Tuesday. That's a business day. Traffic in Fort Lauderdale can be variable. It can be crowded. Just give yourself extra time. Um, except for one night, the cruise is casual in terms of attire. Be comfortable. And your a choice of clothing should reflect the fact that Irons and steamers are not allowed on the ship at all. They will confiscate them. And dry cleaning is very expensive and takes a long time. If you plan on dining with a particular group of guests, be sure to properly submit your group dining information and try as hard as you can to leave your work, your obligations, and your worries at home. And be sure to pack your smile, your love of music, and most of all, your humanity. The Jazz Cruise is really special. It's first cruise program that we ever did. It was my mother's vision for years and years to have a full ship charter dedicated to jazz. It has a tremendous history. It has a camaraderie among the musicians that is unbelievable. They call it jazz heaven because they're all there together. And if you look around the country, look around the world, most quote jazz quote festivals and events, yeah, there's some jazz, but they're really jazz in name. They kept the name Monterey Jazz and all that stuff. But the music is all over the place. This cruise has been, and always will be dedicated to straight ahead jazz. Okay, that's just the way it is. Once in a while, one of our performers may sneak in their a original composition, but we take them down to the brig and we leave them there for about 30 minutes, and then they learn their lesson. I'm only kidding. It's actually 45 minutes. Um, but this cruise has always been so much fun, and the guests are just so much fun to be with. It is probably our most a communal group that we have among our cruises. It's that there's a real identity, there's a real feeling of camaraderie based upon the fact that everybody's there for the same kind of music. We look forward to seeing you all there. If you have any questions in the interim, please do not hesitate to contact us. You can contact me directly. My email is in the Weekender. Um, and I thank you all very, very much because no one asked whether I write the Weekender or I have somebody else write it. This is one of the few webinars where that question hasn't come up. The reason why that bothers me, by the way, isn't isn't that I don't mind folks being nosy. I just fear that everyone says, I know that guy and he's not smart enough to write anything. So that's why that bothers me. But anyway, have a good holiday. Contact us. Rebook your cabins. Think about joining us on a Christian McBride. And until that time, enjoy the music. Thank you.